Hello, everybody, and welcome to race number 19 of Season 3 NASCAR Walmart Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NASCAR Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. So we are finally back at the track we ran the first race of the season at, and we are back with a vengeance. Nighttime racing, 32 laps here at Daytona, should be very, very exciting. And ladies and gentlemen, enough of me talking. Here's a look at your starting lineup for the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
Imagine the dreams of a 13-year-old looking up at the sky, wondering how the world can be so cold. This kid wasn't sold it would be like this. At nighttime, wishes to be safe from this abyss. Cause this shit is something that can be dismissed. A boy born as a girl who is going through the stress. He's got a shotgun up, but can't play for the team. His school won't let him even though it's his dream. Now he's sitting in bed with a loaded gun, thinking about blowing his brains out to kingdom come. Cause he's been bullied and teased all his life. Almost killed himself 2 years ago by slitting his wrist with a knife. I wonder if he sees the things I see for him. 10 years down the line, speaking at the forum. A college graduate up at the top of his class. The first trans NFL player up in the draft.
Well, there's a look at your starting lineup, and by the way, I apologize. I had the racing line on. We're just gonna have to deal with it for tonight's race. But Dylan Young on the pole with Jesse King starting second. So this is going to be interesting here, and here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys and girls. Right now it is side by side between Young and King right now for the lead. But now it's going to be three wide. Well, it was three wide for the lead, and now it's settled to double wide for the lead. Alex Hawkins going underneath Dylan Young, and actually Jesse King is now going to get to the lead. Now remember, with these kind of conditions, when they race here at Daytona at night, you rarely see any accidents take place. When it's daytime, you may get one or two on occasion, depending on how much they're racing. As we look back here, and they're going at three wide, several rows back. But nobody appears to be out of shape at the moment. But it looks like Jesse King, starting in second, is going to lead in lap number one here at Daytona for the Pepsi 400. And Alex Hawkins has now moved himself into second. And right behind him is one of the top five drivers in the point standings, Ryan Anderson Jr. If I can recall, I believe he comes into this race, I believe, third in the points. And he's going underneath of Hawkins for the second spot. And look at this back here. They are three wide, many rows back. And they're getting awfully close. Now that we see some space. And actually, as I look in the back, I see Daytona 500 winner, and winner, I believe, back at M&Ms, Michael Norman in the middle of the pack and around the 17th position. As it's three wide from Seth Cole, who is in the 8th spot, on back to the rest of the cars. It's three wide for the most part on through the back of the pack. And now we have a new leader, and that is the 51 of Ryan Anderson Jr. in the HendrickCars.com 51 Chevy for Phoenix Racing. Meanwhile, we're still looking around the back to keep an eye out on this three wide racing. And I see Cassandra Renzi, who has been kind of free-falling in the points, but she's been hanging in that top five in the points. I believe she comes into the race, I believe, fourth in points. I could be wrong in that regard, but who cares? And she's going to follow up right behind fellow female Jessica Shelton. So she's going to run right behind Shelton on that low line. Meanwhile, up in front of her is Zachary Fitzwater in the 47 going underneath of Play Racing veteran P.J. Williams. Meanwhile, it's getting a little bit dicey back here with the 3 wide racing. So far, I have not seen any attempts of 4 wide, thankfully. These guys have been racing pretty good and really clean on it, too. Meanwhile, Anderson Jr. still leads, but Jesse King is right there on the back bumper, hoping to try to get by for the lead and get that lead back that he had a little bit earlier. And meanwhile, I see actually some teamwork going on there for not teammates, but the husband and wife couple of Henrietta and Zachary Fitzwater working together up on the high line, although the low line seems to get the better run for the most part. Depending on how fast you're going, the low line seems to be the line to run on. And now, wait a minute. Oh, I thought they were going to go 4 wide. That would have been a terrible, terrible idea. And oh, I see Rue McIntyre got a little out of shape. Oh, and there was Eric Enrage. And wait a minute. Is he coming back up? Well, he's getting in contact with Eric Burton, and they save it. But wait a minute. Is the caution out? Yeah, the caution flag is out. No wonder they started slowing down. Let's see what happened. Oh, Kendall Maynor was involved. So was Michael Walden, Charles Jackson. And wait a minute, was Jecko Knight? Yeah, Jecko Knight was involved in that. And I think Ken Thero might have been involved in whatever this was. Not that many cars involved. I'd say at least 5 to 6 cars were involved. And I think I see a little buckle on the hood of Justin Talampas. We'll see a better angle once it gets to the side. I see rear end damage, so he obviously was involved. So for the first time tonight, our caution is going to come out. I did not know the caution had came out, and I was watching the cars slowing down. And I was like, wait, was there a caution? Then I see the lights, and indeed the caution is out. And it looks like we're going to see some pit strategy going down. Some cars are going to stay out, but I see Alex Hawkins and Jessica Sheldon, among others, are coming down pit road. Could be strategy in case they may have to pit another time, but we'll see how that strategy is going to work out. But Ryan Anderson Jr. is your leader. Let's take a look at a replay to see what brought the caution out for the first time tonight here at Daytona. Well, here's a look at what happened. This is right around the back of the pack. And it looks like Kendall Maynor comes up into Justin Talampas, and then, whoa, look at Michael Walden. He's wall riding on that wall. And so he took a wild ride in that accident. Then finally, as Kendall Maynor slid back up, that forces the 99 to come back down on all 4 wheels. But let's actually take a look at this one more time. Watch the 20. It looked like he either came up or Talampas came down. It was hard to tell. I think they just both were trying to run a line, and it didn't work. And there you see Jackson, Thero, Jecko, Walden, Maynor, and then also Talampas was involved. So about a good 6 cars got damaged. Depending on how severe the damages are on these cars, who knows if there's any retirees from this race. We may have 1, maybe 2, depending on how bad the damage is. But that was a look at the replay. Let's go ahead and take you back to the restart here at Daytona. Well, after that last caution, we do have 2 cars out of the race, and they are Jecko Knight and Michael Walden. So tough break for both of those guys. But Ryan Anderson Jr. is going to be the leader here on this restart. Jesse King in second. Third is Cassandra Renzi. Fourth is Sonny Hammond. Fifth is Ian Dutta. Sixth is Jordan Culp. Seventh is Matt McIntyre. Eighth is Zachary Fitzwater. Ninth is Jesse Setti. 10th is P.J. Williams. The rest of the top 20. 11th is Brandon Nichols. 12th is David Rivera. 13th is Trent Dunham. 14th, Eric Enrage. 15th, Eric Burton. 16th is the Daytona 500 and M&Ms winner, Michael Norman. 17th, Dylan Thero. 18th is Cody Lamas. 19th, Chase Oliver. 20th is Anthony McCreary. The rest of the top 30 is Kyle Matthews, the Daytona 500 winner from Season 2. Biggie Spencer in 22nd, 23rd Nick Pericles, 24th Alex Hawkins, 25th Henrietta Fitzwater. I can only assume everybody from Hawkins on back pitted. 26th is Gabe Williams, 27th Jessica Shelton, 28th Cody Hagan, 29th Chris Washer, 30th is Austin Weiner, and the rest of the top 40, or actually the cars that are left, the top 40, Larry Hagan 31st, 32nd Alex Pedro, 33rd Charles Sanford, 34th Rue McIntyre, 35th Seth Cole, 36th Dylan Young, 37th Ken Thero, 38th Kendall Maynard, 39th Justin Talampas, 40th is Charles Jackson. So that is a look at the restart lineup. When we go racing, it's going to be 23 to go here at Daytona. And this restart's going to be interesting since it's a single file restart, not a double file. And here we go. Green flag is back out with 23 to go here at Daytona in the Pepsi 400. And already some cars are going to go double wide, trying to find their lines to run, as Jesse King is going to work the low line, hoping to get around Ryan Anderson Jr. for the lead, and he's got the spot at the moment, but can he clear him quick enough? And then it's going to be 3 wide for second with Anderson Jr., Renzi, and Ian Dutta. And now also here comes Matt McIntyre, who's starting to make his way. So too is Zachary Fitzwater with help from Jesse Setti. Meanwhile, the lead has now gone back to Jesse King, the rookie from Joe Gibbs Racing in the 54. And indeed, he does lead that lap officially. But Ryan Anderson Jr. is not giving up without a fight. But here comes one of the guys, one of the women who has been battling with Ryan Anderson Jr. in points all season, Cassandra Renzi, who has also been in competition with Brandon Nichols for the Rookie of the Season honors. Right now, Renzi's getting drafting help from Ian Dutta, and now she's going to fall in line behind the leader of Jesse King. But there you see Dutta, Fitzwater, and Setti running the bottom. And now cars are just shuffling around trying to get a proper line going. But Jesse King continues to stay up at the front. And there you see Charles Jackson, who is clearly not up to speed. The other cars who are crashed, I don't think they're up to speed either. Gabe Williams is starting to lose the draft. And right now, Jessica Sheldon and Seth Cole are working together in a 2-car tandem. And so too is Charles Sanford and Austin Weiner. And these guys are going over 200 miles an hour doing this double tandem drafting. Not really a lot of wide racing except up towards the front of the field. Meanwhile, Jesse King still has the lead for the moment, as it's now 20 to go here at Daytona. There's plenty of time for anybody to win. Renzi gets forced up high, and here comes Ian Dutta in the 66 for Roush Fenway. And Ian Dutta in Season 4 will return to that ride in Season 4 to remain part of Roush Fenway. Roush Fenway has really started to expand, as it's now going to become a 6-car team in Season 4 when the number 26 Crown Royal car that will be driven by Dylan Thero will be added into the ranks for Season 4. And now Ryan Anderson Jr. is going to run the low line, and he's going to get underneath of Ian Dutta for the second spot. And here comes Cody Lamas in that Buck Commander Toyota. That ride will be eventually taken over by Dorian Face Puncher in Season 4. And there's a couple of 3-wide battles going on towards in the middle of the pack. And Lamas, you got a little bit wobbly there, but he's still going. And also here comes a couple of guys we haven't talked about all day. Anthony McCurry, Dylan Thero, and Daytona 500 winner Michael Norman, as we now got a new leader coming at the moment, and that is Ryan Anderson Jr. It's been back and forth between him and Jesse King all race long, but now he's going to leave that bottom lane open for Anthony McCurry to make a move to the lead. And Anthony McCreary had a solid finish, solid top 10 finish in the Daytona 500 earlier this season. We'll see if he can repeat that success or even surpass that success and win. We'll see how this race is going to go for McCreary as he now opens the bottom lane open for Dylan Thero in the 17 to possibly get to the lead. And I'm seeing more and more cars starting to make waves, so to speak, to get up to the front. I see Chase Oliver, David Rivera's up there, Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham's even running the low line. And now Thero's going to leave the bottom lane open for Michael Norman to potentially get the lead for himself. As we are one lap away from halfway through this race, 17 to go. So we're getting closer to the end, but we still got plenty of time for somebody to make something happen. As they are getting pretty racy back behind Michael Norman. They're going 3 wide, a few rows deep. I even almost saw a potential attempt of 4 wide, and thank goodness they didn't. But here comes Dylan Thero to the lead. Oh, they're getting really close! Oh man, I thought they were going to wreck. Oh, Rivera gets a little contact from Fitzwater. Oh, wait a minute, pit stops are now going to take place. Green flag pit stops. And Dylan Thero's coming in. And now that's going to cycle the lead over to Michael Norman. As we look around, pretty much not even half the field win the pits. Pretty much most of the cars in the field are still on track. I believe about 28, 7, 20 to 29 cars are still on track. Everybody else came down pit road. But now Norman has a big lead over Chase Oliver, but you gotta wonder if these guys are coming down pit road this time by. And I think these guys may be able to make it on fuel, though it's going to be difficult to really tell depending on their pit strategy. And now the lead's going to go back to Jesse King, who last time by was scored 9th, and now he is the leader. And we are still clean and green as it's past halfway with 15 to go here at Daytona, and plenty of cars still haven't come in pit. We still got this big pack of cars who still haven't pit, like Sonny Hammond, Jesse Setti, Cody Hagan, Alex Hawkins, among others. Meanwhile, Jesse King has a big lead, but he's going to have to come down pit road at some point. And it looks like he is getting ready to come, and so too are a lot of other cars, though Alex Hawkins is actually going to stay out. So too is Cody Hagan, Henry F. Fitzwater, among others. They're going to try to stretch it out a little bit further in order to maybe make sure that they don't have to pit the rest of the race if everybody else who pitted before them do have to pit one more time. But right now it is Hawkins as the leader, and then second is Cody Hagan, and then there's a big pack of cars coming by, the cars who had just came out of pit road. So once these pit stops for everybody else finish, who knows where the lead is, or who's going to be the leader after this cycle of green flag pit stops. And let's see if Hawkins and Hagan are coming down, and they are still not coming down. Meanwhile, only 2 cars out of the rest of those cars are pitting, and that is Jessica Sheldon and Seth Cole. So we still got plenty of cars yet to come down into the pits. Right now, Alex Hawkins is leading, but he's got a full bore of a bunch of cars still in front of him, and Cody Hagan is running literally dead behind him. Let's take a look at the scoring, and we do have several cars a lap down, but I think they will get their laps back once the leaders and everybody else who haven't pitted yet come down. And now here comes Hawkins into the pits, but now that's going to get the lead over to Cody Hagan. But still, these other cars behind them are still not coming into the pits. I think some of these cars were cars that pitted after the first caution, so they have about a good 5 extra laps on gas, but they're going to have to pit at some point. But meanwhile, Cody Hagan has a giant lead over Larry Hagan, who is right there, and Hawkins is going a lot faster. And yeah, Cody Hagan's going a lot faster than Larry Hagan, his brother. But let's see if Cody's coming down pit road this time. And no, he isn't. But meanwhile, Charles Jackson is pitting. And yes, this pack of cars who are up at the front, other than guys like Chris Washer, Jessica Sheldon, Chase Oliver, they're still not yet pitting. Like Austin Weiner, Dylan Young haven't pitted. It's kind of questionable the strategy that they're trying to go for. Because yes, those cars did pit around laps 7 or 8 during that first caution, so they had a good 7 to 8 extra laps, but they're going to have to pit at some point. And now finally here comes Cody Hagan into pit road, and so too are pretty much everybody else. So now the pit stops will officially be over, as now all those drivers who were in pit road during the first caution are now finally making their stops. But now it's going to be a question as to who is going to get to the lead. And I'm starting to think it may be David Rivera as the leader now. Once it all cycles around, I think Rivera will be the leader, but he's going a little bit slower than Thero, but he's got a pretty marginable lead at the moment, but they will probably end up catching him depending on how they're going to work together to get to the 6. But the good help for David Rivera was Charles Jackson. He somehow was managed to get a little bit of ground. And now, wait a minute, a little bit of contact with Charles Sanford and Dylan Young coming out of the pits. David Rivera's last scored in 9th. If he can get around Cody Hagan, I think he will get to the lead. And there is Cody Hagan, but wait a minute, who was scored as the leader that time? I'm trying to look around for the car that was the leader. It was Alex Pedro, and clearly Rivera got around him, but Cody Hagan is still up there. Is he going to be able to get cycled back around to the lead? I don't know, because here comes Rivera, and he's coming fast. Let's see if Hagan got scored back around as the leader. Let's see, and indeed he did. So the strategy somewhat worked out for Cody Hagan, but here comes David Rivera, and he's going to try to work in the draft with Cody Hagan. So this is a battle for the lead with 9 laps to go between David Rivera and Cody Hagan. And now here comes Rivera down low, and then there's Dylan Thero and Michael Norman who have pulled away from the rest of the pack. And Thero was going 2 miles an hour faster than Rivera, which I don't think it will be too much enough to catch up to David Rivera. It all depends on how he's going to be able to catch him. But David Rivera has now gotten around Cody Hagan for the lead, with 8 to go here at Daytona. Let's actually take a look and see how the top 20 currently runs after that cycle of green flag pit stops. It is David Rivera, the leader. 2nd is Cody Hagan. 3rd is Dylan Thero. 4th is Michael Norman. 5th is Trent Dunham. 6th is Zachary Fitzwater. 7th is Alex Hawkins. 8th is Larry Hagan. 9th is Biggie Spencer. 10th is Austin Weiner. We're actually going to stay with just the top 10 because look at this big pack of cars running right around the backstretch. Oh man, this could all get ugly in a hurry. They are 3 wide for a few rows. It could get ugly, and I almost saw a 4 wide attempt. Oh, they tried going 4 wide with Seth Cole, but they settle it out. But yeah, this is all going way further back from the leader of David Rivera, and he's still holding on to that lead. And there is Gabe Williams, who has lost a draft, but he's still up to speed. There is Sanford, Dylan Young, and then there's this 3rd pack of cars who are just striking distance away from the main pack of cars on the backstretch. I see Jesse Setti is back in this, Rue McIntyre, Chris Washer are all back here, and they are only just probably about a half a second away from the main pack. So they may catch that main pack depending on how well they're going to run. And Biggie Spencer is actually the leader of this main pack in the 8th spot. And now we got this small 4-car pack of everybody from 4th on through to 7th with Michael Norman, Zachary Fitzwater, Alex Hawkins, Trent Dunham. And then this little 3-car tandem up at the front with Rivera, Hagan, and Thero. But nobody's really been able to make any moves to David Rivera at the moment. David Rivera's just running a smart race, just keeping his car up at the front, not making any mistakes, and he's still up at the lead as it's now 5 to go here at Daytona. And David Rivera, this could be, oh wait a minute, the caution is out. Caution flag is out. This changes everything. As I'm looking around the cars, oh, it looked like a wreck happened, and I see Chris Washer's damaged, Jesse Setty's wrecked, Henrietta Fitzwater, Jordan Culp was crashed. Brandon Nichols and Ryan Anderson Jr. were caught up in whatever this was. And Nick Pericles is in the back, and Austin Weiner got some rear end damage, but he's still on track. Looked like the wreck happened around the backstretch, on the backstretch. This changes everything in the race, so now David Rivera is going to have to put up with everybody running behind him, so he's going to have to work extra hard to hold off the field. Now, it looked like the wreck actually happened in here, in this almost the same area as the first caution. And this one took a bigger toll than the first caution, so I don't expect anybody to come down pit road here. Since they made their green flag pit stops, I don't see anybody pitting, and nobody is coming down, so that gives us a chance to take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the second time tonight here at Daytona. Well, it looked like it was a case of drivers trying to make it 4 wide, and it didn't work. Watch Seth Cole. He's going to try to get underneath of Ryan Anderson Jr. in between Jordan Culp and McCrory. Oh, and it looked like Anderson Jr. came up in the McCrory, and then in the Culp and Austin Weiner. And then there you see Nick Pericles. He's got held up. So too did Alex Pedro. But then, watch as they come from behind. Right there, Brandon Nichols gets hit. And then right there, oh, that was a hard hit from Jesse Setty into Brandon Nichols, forcing the 12 to go upside down. And he's just pirouetting down the track, and then he finally comes to rest on all 4 wheels. But man, that was a pretty hard hit that Brandon Nichols ended up taking from the hit from the 88. And let's see, yeah, he hits Anderson Jr. and Fitzwater. And then that was a hard hit right into Jordan Culp as well, and got him airborne for a split second. And that ride going upside down and hitting the wall like that was reminiscent to Ryan Newman's crash at Talladega in 2009. The way it rode upside down and went up into the outside wall on its nose. Let's actually try to get back to the 51 and go back to the helicopter camera for a second to see what really happened. I think Anderson Jr. was trying to open up room for Seth Cole, but McCrory was there. Or it could have been also for Anderson to try to get behind McCrory, but just not enough room to make that work. And it was also a near 4 wide situation. There you see Nichols coming in. And yeah, there you see Culp. He just went up in the air after that hit from the 12. And then the 12 takes a hard hit from the 88 and forces him upside down. And then he finally comes to rest on all 4 wheels, but couldn't drive it back, so he had to teleport to pit road. We're actually going to go on board with a few cars. We're going to go on board with Brandon Nichols, Jordan Culp, and Jesse Setty. On board with Jordan Culp. There you see some of the contact, and then there was the hit into the 22. And then right there was the hit from Brandon Nichols, and there you see him go upside down. And then the 38, pretty much his car died. On board with Jesse Setty, who was running in 27th at the time. And watch this, as Brandon Nichols literally right in front of her, but watch this. Right into the left front wheel. Right into the left front wheel is what caused Brandon Nichols' flip to take place. And finally on board with Brandon Nichols. And right there you see up ahead the crash is taking place. And then watch this. Man, tough luck for Brandon Nichols. Well, we are going to be racing for a one-lap shootout. So 1 lap of racing, and it's going to be interesting. Now, after that last caution, we have several cars out of the race, and they are Charles Jackson, or I believe he could be just a lap down, but Henrietta Fitzwater's out. So too is Chris Washer, Jesse Setti, Brandon Nichols, Ryan Anderson Jr., and Jordan Culp joining Jecko 9 Michael Walden, but quick run through, it is David Rivera the leader, second Cody Hagan, third is Dylan Thero, fourth is Zachary Fitzwater, fifth is Michael Norman, sixth Alex Hawkins, seventh Trent Dunham, eighth is Biggie Spencer, ninth is Ian Dutta, 10th Kyle Matthews, 11th Jessica Shelton, 12th is Eric Enrage, 13th Matt McIntyre, 14th Sonny Hammond, 15th Larry Hagan, 16th is Chase Oliver. Excuse me. 17th Cassandra Renzi. 18th is Seth Cole. 19th Jesse King. 20th is Cody Lamas. Sorry. 21st is Eric Burton. 22nd PJ Williams. 23rd Rue McIntyre. 24th Austin Weiner. 25th Anthony McCurry. 26th Alex Pedro. 27th Charles Sanford. 28th is Dylan Young. 29th, or actually he's the lap down, Charles Jackson. 29th, Nick Pericles. 30th, Kendall Maynor. 31st, Justin Talampas. 32nd, Ken Thero. And then 33rd, Gabe Williams with Ford. 34th, a lap down, Charles Jackson. We are getting ready to race for one final lap, So if a wreck happens, the race will be concluded. So the white flag and the green flag is coming out this time. The next flag, whether it's the caution or the checkered, ends the race. David Rivera trying to go for his second win of the season and the fourth of his career, but he's going to have a lot of guys to hold off. Green flag, final lap. White flag is out here at Daytona. David Rivera got off to a decent jump on that start. Cody Hagan sort of did the same thing, but nobody's really going for any crazy maneuvers at the moment, and Rivera's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Cody Hagan, who also has a gap between himself and Dylan Thero. Unless cars can get bunched up and get into a tandem, who knows if they can get around David Rivera. Now Dylan Thero is now going to go underneath of Cody Hagan for the second spot. And now Rivera's going to dive back low. I don't think anybody's going to catch the 6. And he's got a pretty decent gap between himself and his teammate Dylan Thero, coming off of turn 4 for the last time. Coming to the checkered flag for the second time this season, the fourth of his career. David Rivera wins the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. What an excellent job by David Rivera. Pit strategy somehow worked. He got around Cody Hagan during the green flag. Got off to a nice restart and held him off, and gets his second win of the season and the fourth of his career. This could be a good thing for him in points, as this could give him a wild card spot depending on how high he'll move up in the points. But let's take a look at the official results. David Rivera, solid performance for the 6 team. He's going to come away with the win, and great job for the 6. Right behind him is teammate Dylan Thero, so he had a 1-2 finish for Roush Fenway. Solid performances by some of the Roush Fenway cars. Cody Hagan, who took strategy, and it did work out in a way for him. He managed to get a solid 3rd place finish. Zachary Fitzwater needed a good run up 4th. Great run for him. And the Daytona 500 winner, Michael Norman, will salvage out a top 5 finish. Ian Dutta, who's the 3rd Roush car to finish in the top 10, he comes away with 6. Biggie Spencer, the guy who comes in, I believe, 42nd in points, he needed a good run, and he finally got his first good run in quite some time. He's going to come away with 7. Jessica Shelton, solid top 10. This can move her up a lot higher in the points. Alex Hawkins, solid 9th. and Eric and Rage rounds out the top 10. The rest of the top 20 are, excuse me, I'm trying to catch something here. Alright, anyways. The top 20 was Kyle Matthews, Sonny Hammond, Matt McIntyre, Trent Dunham, Chase Oliver, Cassandra Renzi, Larry Hagan, Cody Lamas, Seth Cole, and Rue McIntyre. I was trying to get some bug, and I think I got it. Rest of the top 30 was Jesse King, PJ Williams, Eric Burden, Charles Sanford, Alex Pedro, Nick Pericles, Dylan Young, Anthony McCurry, Kendall Maynard, Justin Talampas. And the final 3 cars that finished on the lead lap were Austin Weiner, Gabe Williams, and Ken Thero. And Charles Jackson finishing a lap down. Everybody else behind him was out of the race. Henrietta Fitzwater, Chris Washer, the points leader who came in. Now he's going to lose that points lead. I think potentially to, I would probably say either Cassandra Renzi or maybe even Michael Norman. But then Jesse Setti, Brandon Nichols, Ryan Anderson Jr., Jordan Kolb, Jecko Knight, and Michael Walton. That does it for our coverage tonight here at Daytona. We'll see you at Chicago, which will be the next race. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points.
Cause I was feeling stupid while trying to do music, thinking that they had no voice and that I was useless. But as I write this down, I can see what I mean. Nobody ever will stop me from achieving my dreams.